Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are going live right now, Monday night. We're going to look at this game. Lot of things we've seen before, unfortunately, especially on the offensive side. Some good things on the defensive side, but we'll get into that as well. I want to say hello to everybody who's out there right now. We're going to get into this, and this is how we normally do things over here. And this is how, if you're new to this is how we normally do things as far as our live streams. We have what we call the rundown, and we have our various topics right here. Hey, Dominique, how you doing? I see you popping in on chat. Welcome to you and everybody else who is here. We're going to go through the rundown just like we do. If you have any comments that you'd like to talk about during this game or the Raiders in general, you put them in the comment section, and we will get to those during the Q&A portion of our program here. First thing I want to do is I put a poll out yesterday after the game about Derek Carr basically staying or going. How do you feel that? Do you think he's actually going to be our quarterback for the next season? And slightly 41% said no. Only about a quarter of you said yes. And I have to kind of agree with that at this point, and I'll get into why once we get into the game review. But yeah, we've lost 3 in a row now. A lot of issues with this team, and again, I'll go over that specifically with Derek and this offense right now. But first, as we normally do, we go towards our defensive side and we evaluate. So during our game reviews, we go through and we give grades based on the 4 keys to the game, 2 on offense, 2 on defense that I did during the preview, as well as an overall grade for the defense itself. So we're going to go first to what I said as far as containing Joe Mixon. And I'm going to give this one a C-. Now, if you were here during my halftime show, I would have given this an A. They did a great job against Mixon, with the exception of that bullshit call on Faison, the helmet to helmet, which basically gave Mixon an easy touchdown run. I believe the play after that. But the defense kind of wore down the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. We'll get to that in the overall grade. But Joe Mixon ended up with 30 for 123 and 2 touchdowns. He had 4.1 yards per carry. Not great, but not bad. Again, I think the defense, the overall theme is that we kind of ran down, especially in the fourth quarter. Now, my second key to the game was getting this defensive line to get some more pressure. And I wanted 2 sacks, especially from the interior defensive line I talked about in the preview. And that's what we got. We got 1 from Quentin Jefferson and 1 from Solomon Thomas. So we got 2 there. We also had another from Yannick Ngakoue. But I got to give this one a B-. And here's why. Again, they kind of wore down in the second half. Hi, Sandy B. I see you popping in. Thank you to come in here, and anybody else who just popped in. We're going over the defensive side review of the game and giving out my grades. And I'm giving the second key to the game a B- because they did pretty well in the first half. The same thing with my first key. The second half they kind of waned, especially in the running game. Hankins did a real good job in the first half, as well as Perryman. Overall, slowing and stopping Joe Mixon. Unfortunately, we didn't get the same support on the offensive side. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, I'm going to give the defense a C. I was thinking about maybe a C+. You could go there. However, they did give up 32 overall points total, 19 in the fourth quarter. You could tell they were gassed. Another issue we had in the game, and I've talked about this for weeks now, the third down conversions. And that was happening early on as well with Cincinnati. Cincinnati ended up being 8 of 16. That is unacceptable for third down conversions. Joe Burrow didn't have that great of a game. 20 for 29, he was accurate, but he only had 148 yards. It's like 5 yards per reception. So that's nothing. 1 touchdown. So they did pretty well. Like I said, I think they did a good job up until the fourth quarter. They wore down. They were on the field a lot. We'll get to that on the offensive side, but I think if the offense was clicking, the defensive performance would have been good enough to win this game. And that said, let's get right to the offense. As far as the offensive side goes, we're going to talk about my first key to the game here, and that was getting the deep threat involved. I felt that was a big thing we could do, especially with Bates and Eli Apple kind of struggling with air yards. And obviously, I got to give this an F. Zay only had one catch for 20 yards. Deshaun didn't even get a reception. They did a jet sweep for 4 yards. It's the only time he actually touched the ball in the game. So they didn't get him really involved. Now, you could say that's Olsen with the play calling. You could say that's Derek Carr. Some people say, well, they weren't getting open. Well, Renfro only had 4 catches for 30 yards also, so he wasn't getting open either. The only player as far as the receiving end was Darren Waller. He had over 100 yards on 7 receptions. Carr kind of seemed like he had tunnel vision on him, to be honest with you. And we'll get to that with the overall grade for the offense. But my second key to the game was right here, not just the running game, but getting Kenyon Drake involved in the short passing game. And I got to give this one an F also. I mean, Cincinnati was ripe for the picking, kind of like our defense, where we don't cover the running back out of the flat very well. And Drake only had 1 reception for 6 yards. Now, I know Jacobs had 4, but those were like little dump offs, and Carr was kind of just kind of struggling and, felt he was under the gun. Those weren't set up plays. And the one play that Drake had that was really peculiar to me was a 3rd and 6. I believe Carr audibled into this play where they had Drake run inside on a 3rd and 6. They didn't convert. And it just boggles my mind. You have certain people with certain talents, and we're not utilizing them against a team that's not very good in certain situations, and that is the short passing game. And then going deep, we didn't do that either. It made no sense to me. So obviously, I got to give this an F. Only 13 points. We only had 13 first downs compared to 23 first downs for Cincinnati. 1 for fucking 7 on 3rd down conversions. I mean, we went from bad to worse here. From the Chiefs game to this game, we had 278 total yards, not passing yards, total yards. Carr had kind of okay numbers. 19 to 27, 215, one touchdown, 1 interception. But here's the problem: the last 2 meaningful drives. We didn't get a real good drive on this offense until the 4th quarter. What's going on with that? And that was all on the tight ends. 2 with Waller and then the touchdown to Foster Moreau. And the last 2 drives we had ended up in turnovers, an interception and then that fumble with Carr. And he was kind of slightly hit, but his arms weren't hit, and he just fumbled the ball away. I mean, does he need gloves? I don't know what's going on with that. I've said this before, he has this issue with being able to carry the ball when he scrambles. Now just going around the pocket, he's having problems. And this is the problem with the Raiders. We see these issues week after week after week, and then they go to the press conferences, and this is why I put this picture in the thumbnail. He came out with his Dodger hat on. I know some of the Bay Area fans didn't like that, obviously. To me, it wasn't a huge deal. To me, it was his demeanor again, kind of down in the dumps. He was kind of hinting at, he basically needs to, keep working at it for as long as he's here. It almost sounds like he knows the time is coming here. He's not going to be a Raider anymore, and a lot of this going on. And then, there was some talk about Denzel Perryman was doing a presser also before that and talking about how he had a dinner reservation he wanted to get to. He was kind of smiling about it. Now, it was kind of weird that he was smiling when we lost. Now, he had a pretty good game, but, he was saying, well, I don't want to cuss and all this. So I think there's a lot of issues between the offense and the defense behind this locker room, because Carr mentioned something about staying late, going late for dinner and stuff like this, instead of concentrating. But you know what? The defense played better than the offense. He is the leader of the offense. Now, Olsen can call all the plays he wants. He can audible out of them. So it falls on him. He's the quarterback. Olsen falls on him for being offensive coordinator. I don't understand how this team could look so good the first couple games out the chute without Gruden, and now the wheels have just fallen off. Now, I know Ruggs isn't there, but you have other weapons and you're not utilizing them. You're not even trying. It isn't hardly even trying to go deep until late in the game. It's too late. You're 1 of 7 on third down conversions. You're keeping your defense on the field the whole frigging game, and now they're tired out. They kept the score within the game within one score, and you're not holding up your end. That's the bottom line here. So again, I think the defense played well enough to win this game, but the offense obviously did not. Now, there's some things I want to talk about before we get to the Q&A. Obviously, this week is Thanksgiving week. So I put this here. So obviously we're here on the 22nd. Our next game is the 25th, the Cowboy game. Obviously, unfortunately, I'm not going to be available to do the halftime live stream. Sorry about that. I will go live Monday for the game review, just like this one. Sorry about that. I will be putting out a game preview on Wednesday. You can check that out. But yeah, I'm going to be kind of preoccupied with some family activities. I won't be able to do the live stream on Thanksgiving Day. And I just added this here. This came out today. It kind of caught my eye. Raiders put out a video. Raiders fall to Bengals at home. Turn attentions to Cowboys on a short week. And it's like, it almost feels like they're almost trying to give an excuse if we lose again. And I watched some of it. There's not a whole lot of enthusiasm, even from the commentator standpoint, Eric Allen. It's like this whole team's given up. It's sad. Now, I know Gruden being gone, they bounced back from that, and then this whole Henry Ruggs thing, and it just feels like they've given up. And at this point, I almost kind of feel that they might only win like 6 or 7 games the rest, total for the year. So I'm thinking maybe they'll win 1 or 2. The way things are going right now. Now, they have the talent to win in Dallas, but are they going to win? That's a big other story. I think Carr's too much in his head right now, and I think we're in a little bit of trouble here for that. So that said, let's get to our Q&A portion. And I want to see what you guys have to say about this game, what you guys feel about the Raiders in general, the front office, the players, Derek Carr. Should he be our quarterback next season? Should he be our quarterback next week? I know there's a lot of talk about people saying he should be benched for Marcus Mariota. I was talking about that maybe this game. The previous game with Cincinnati. I think with this game, it doesn't make any sense on a short week, to be honest. I think if they were going to do that, do it with the Bengals, but it didn't happen. So I'm a little concerned that we're just kind of going through the motions, to be honest with you, at this point of the season. And it's kind of sad because I think they have enough talent to at least make the playoffs. Probably not to win the Super Bowl or anything like that, but they should be able to secure one of those 7 spots. So let's see what you have to say right now. What's up, Dominique? I saw you there. I hardly heard Drake's name. Yeah, well, yeah. It's not only not hearing Drake, it's not utilizing him properly. His bread and butter is catching the ball in the flat, playing outside, running outside, doing sweeps, things like that, screen passes. That's Drake's game. Outside, not running between the tackles. The team wasn't constructed properly. I already talked about that as far as the running backs go, with Josh Jacobs being injured often. So it is what it is. But like I said, the Bengals were susceptible. They were one of the worst teams against the running back as far as receiving yards. And if I can see that, I'm sure the Raiders can see that, right? They can look at stat sheets and dig through things and look at film, and you could see it. And they just didn't take advantage of it. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Do they really want to win games? At least try to do that. And if they stop you, then they stop you. But at least there's some kind of point of attack that you're trying to do in this game. I didn't really see it. Very vanilla. And I talked about that in the halftime show. And it didn't get much better until the fourth quarter. They had Carr finally decided to not throw 2-yard passes and try to go deep. And it worked on that one drive. But by then it was too late. I mean, they were down by 10, and then they were down by, I think it was 17. They got the touchdown, so it was like 17-13 at that point. So it was too late by then, so it didn't really matter. It's a little too late for this offense, and I'm wondering what were they thinking between the Philly game and these 3 games. I just don't get it. They look like a totally different team. Now the Giants game was winnable. We did a lot of stupid things and let them in the game. These last 2 games we looked like trash. We didn't deserve to win. Still have games to play with Carr down in the dumps isn't good. Yeah. Well, one of the things he said in the post-game presser was that, he's kind of tired of losing and, he's been here this long and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, you're the quarterback. You're the head of the offense. He said something like he's waiting for the change, to happen. You're the quarterback. Be the friggin' change. Hello. You're not like some backup running back and, you touch the ball every friggin' play. What? I don't get that. I don't know. Like I said, I put in my thumbnail broken. I think he's broken at this point. He's probably best to go to another team at this point. Maybe like a Ryan Tannehill could resurrect his career with another location. I don't think Marcus Mariota is the long-term solution. I would not be above drafting a rookie quarterback if we are inclined to do so. But, I mean, it is what it is. Sandy B says, no worries, it's a holiday. Even Walmart is off. Walmart's off on Thanksgiving. I thought they opened on Thanksgiving for their little pre-Black Friday deals. I muted there so I could take a little bit of a drink. Hey, Hefe, how you doing? Nice of you to come out, and I'm sure you're enjoying us circling the drain here as far as the Raiders go. A lot of issues, and I talked about that with the Graydon Gruden. A lot of second half collapses, and Gruden's not here, and we're still collapsing. So I don't know what to think of all this. Maybe it is on Carr and Olsen. At this point, I don't know, but this offense has not been good enough to win for at least 2 weeks now. You could argue even with the Giants made some stupid decisions, but the Chiefs in this game weren't good enough. Wasn't good enough. And I don't see the fire. I don't feel the intensity. I think the fans care more about winning than the team does. They care more about getting their dinner reservations. I think Denzel Perryman's a good player, but I think he knows he's not going to be here long term, and he's looking good now. He's probably playing really well. He's probably going to get a good contract next year, maybe 2-3 year deal, a lot better deal, maybe with somebody else, probably more of a 3-4 kind of a guy, and he can plug him in the middle, and he doesn't have as much pass coverage responsibilities. I think that would be better for Perryman, to be honest with you. Just like kind of like in San Diego or LA Chargers. Let's see. Every week, Sandy B says, every week they get worse. So what can they do? I come out here every week and have keys to the game, and they're not doing them. It's not like they do all these keys and they still lose. There was basic things, and I explained those, like attacking them deep. Eli Apple is not a very good corner, but he got a pick off of Derek Carr. Made a bad decision, jumped up and grabbed it. And Jesse Bates, he played very well, and he came up, but still, I think his pass coverage skills really aren't there, to be honest with you. And even if you go deep and throw it out of bounds, scare them. Even if you and Deshaun are not on the same page, something you can't just throw 2-yard passes and expect the league to respect you. It's not going to happen. And you can't fall back. Well, we don't have Ruggs. No, you have 2 guys that can run. So at least try. You're not even trying. And then the whole thing with Drake. They're like us. They're shitty against covering the running back in the flat, just like us. And we didn't utilize it. They did more with Perrine. Mixon didn't get a catch the whole game, a reception, but Sam J. Purina Catchow, whatever his name is, he got a few. So, and then the other guy, their number 3 guy, I forgot his name. So, it seems like they attacked us more. They went after Crosby. Crosby's over aggressive, doesn't play the run as well, and they saw that. It's like the same old. Do we have actual coaches? I'm asking for a friend here, especially on the offensive side. Do they just go and do tunnel vision and say we want to run these 12 plays or 15 plays, and do they look to the opponent's defense and say, oh, they're shitty at this area, maybe we should do this? Did they actually do that? Because if they do, they're not executing on the field. If they're actually doing that, I have not seen it. Now, I'll do a game review for Dallas. Fortunately for us, it looks like Amari Cooper is going to be out on COVID, and CeeDee Lamb's going to be out with a concussion. He got a concussion, so he's probably not going to play, basically, since we're on a short week. So those are two weapons, but they have Michael Gallup, who's really good as a backup. So I'm not too worried about that. I think our corners, it's funny, our corners have been a problem in the past. They're probably one of our stronger points now, especially with Faison. He's really kind of come up. We kind of got him off the scrap heap, and he's played pretty well for that. Olsen called a run on 3rd and 7, gave the speed sweep to Brian Edwards. I saw that. It's just like, it's like, oh, what are we doing out here? It's like all these little gimmick plays and stuff. It's like, we have Hunter Renfrow. I thought we had 3rd and Renfrow for a reason. We had one first down on 3rd down. So I don't know. I don't get that either. So, I mean, we still have two decent weapons. You could at least say Waller and Renfrow in the passing game. Put Kenyon Drake out there, 3rd and long. Make them think about him. And if they're not covering him, dump it off to him. He'll get the first down. If it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, he's in the flat, dump it to him. He will get the first down. He's quick. He will get it. So let's see. Sandy B says, need to shop for a quarterback. Yeah. It's, to me, this is the time to see what Derek Carr is made out of. And maybe that's what we're seeing right now, to be honest. I mean, I think even last year where he was like running more and doing those flips, and it looked like he was like really trying, and now it's just like, oh crap, I'm scared. Let me drop it off for 2 yards. Where's Jacobs? Let me throw it. Oh, it's like, nobody's going to respect that. I think Bosa got under his skin, to be honest with you. I think those comments got under his skin, and he hasn't bounced back. He needs to man up, and he has the talent. He has the physical talent. I think the issue is psychological with this guy. So if he can't do it now, obviously we're going to get a new head coach. Hopefully, I'm thinking better personnel people as well. But I'll go into that, like I said, in an off-season video with Mayock. But we're going to get a new head coach and probably be starting over at quarterback if he can't turn this around. 2-yard dump offs ain't the answer. So let's see. Dominique says, I've never been a fan of Carr. He's never won anything. Everything has to be perfect for him. He just finally won in KC last year. He's never won a playoff game in 8 years. People have made every excuse for Carr. Enough is enough. Well, yeah. Let's be honest here. Our defenses fucking sucked for years. This is the first time I've seen a decent defense. Now, I'm not saying they're without fault. I know some of you, Dominique, don't like Gus Bradley, but look at this year's defense and look at the 3 years we had Paul Gunther and tell me which is better. Show me. And if you say one of those 3 years is better, you show me with stats, because it's not there. It's not there. So he has a better defense now. This whole thing with Ruggs, I know it's going to hurt the team a little bit, but still, you still have to play. The Giants game was totally winnable. The Chiefs game, we totally got out-coached and outplayed. Nobody showed up from the head coach on down. I think, I don't know what's going on with that. No fire in this team, and it's like Cincinnati wasn't doing, let's be honest, Cincinnati wasn't doing shit in that game until late in the third quarter. Can we talk? Can we be real here? I mean, 10-6, and that touchdown they got was bullshit. That facing call was absolute bullshit. That should have been fourth down, so it should have been 6-6. They weren't doing jack. Joe Burrow wasn't doing much of anything, not until the fourth quarter, and Jamar Chase wasn't doing anything either. And frankly, Joe Mixon we were doing pretty well with Joe Mixon until the defense tired out. So. But, they 1 for 7, you're on the field. They had time of possession almost 40 minutes on us. At 37 minutes time of possession. So, and you probably could have added another minute on that because we called all those bullshit timeouts at the end and they got the field goal and then we just ran it out a couple times and into the game. But the 2 drives before that ended in turnovers, right? And the turnovers ended up where the other team, Cincinnati scored points on. So, can you blame the defense when the offense turns the ball over in field goal position and they don't give up a first down and the other team kicks a 50-yard field goal because their field goal kicker's good? I mean, they did what they did. They even got the ball. They got the strip sack fumble, gave it to them their first drive on the 9-yard line, first and goal. 3 points. 3 points. I mean, I guess the defense has to get pick sixes. It's the only way we're going to get touchdowns now. Is that how it's going to work? We'll get our one obligatory great drive. No, it's not good enough. Not good enough. Sandy B says, clean house, staff, and player. I'd like to clean the ownership up. I know that's not going to happen. Tommy Boy's there. I would love to get a real owner like a real Davis, like an Al Davis, not a Tommy Boy Davis. Because he's been in charge of hiring all these nonsense people, to be honest. So Dominique says, it doesn't matter who plays or doesn't play for Dallas, we're going to get embarrassed on national TV. Shake my head. Let me take a quick drink and I'll answer that. I can't disagree with you. I mean, let's think about this. The Chiefs game, right? Sunday Night Football. On the grand stage, you're hosting a division rival, a team you don't like, and you come out and just bend over and take it. That's what happened. No fire, no drive. And now you're going to go to Dallas on Thanksgiving, where they play on Thanksgiving every year on 4 days with losing 3 games in a row. I mean, I don't know. The defense is going to have to get 3 or 4 turnovers for us to win this game. That's what I think right now. Just my general. I don't care if CeeDee Lamb and Cooper aren't there. They got Michael Gallup's pretty good, and I know Zeke's nursing a knee injury, but he's going to play. He'll play. They're going to keep him. They're going to keep him from practice. He just did walkthrough today. They all did walkthrough, but I'm convinced Ezekiel Elliott will play. Right now, my initial thoughts would be it's going to be similar to this game where the defense is going to look pretty good. Slow down Ezekiel Elliott for 3 quarters. Offense isn't going to do jack shit, and then they're just going to wear out, and the floodgates are going to open up, and Dak's going to look like he's a Pro Bowler. Let's see. Sandy B says doesn't help with refs out against you. It seems. I'll say this about the refs. I'll say it was a much better game than the Chiefs game as far as the holding calls not being called. The Chiefs held just about every down. Cincinnati was a lot better. I mean, you could probably call holding on every play. They didn't really ding our offensive line for anything. And the only play I really disagreed with was that Faison call, because Faison was launching himself And when he did it, Boyd, he was launching himself right in his midsection, and Boyd kind of crunched down and ended up hitting helmet to helmet. They call that. It's like, well, you can't stop in midair. It's like, come on, guys. But like the Yannick Ngakoue pushing Burrow like 3 seconds after he threw the ball, that was stupid. Why did Yannick do that? I can't blame the refs for that. And then lining up off sides. I mean, you learned that in freaking high school. Pop Warner. I played on defensive line. I was a defensive end. I played in high school. One of the first things they teach you is look down, look over. Where's the ball? That's like the first friggin' thing they teach you, and he can't do that. And both those plays cost us getting off the field. Those were on third down plays. It would have been fourth down. So I think we got a fair shake with the refs. It was ultimately it's the offense. And you could see the defense, they were just kind of worn down, and they just kept running Mixon, and that's what Cincy should have done, to be honest. You know, just pad the lead, and they're going to give them the ball back. Well, we'll just keep running the ball. That's how you do it. That's what Gruden did. You know, he used to do that. So, let's see. Dominic said, sorry if I missed it, champ, but who'd you say your number one choice for head coaches? I don't have one yet. I'll probably do a video in the off season about that. Honestly, I wouldn't mind like a young head coach guy, kind of like a McVay, like a Sean McVay type, more offensive minded, maybe even a guy from college. At this point, I wouldn't mind it. I think the only coach I would want to keep is Gus Bradley. Say what you will, the defense has gotten better. We still have holes. We have significant issues, mainly on the interior defensive line. I know Solomon Thomas has exceeded my expectations. Not to say he's like a Pro Bowler, but I looked at that. And we were paying him 1 year, $5 million. I was like, what the hell are we doing? You know, and we could have had Dalvin Tomlinson for what, 8 or 10 million, and we're paying this guy $5 million, basically a first round bust. But he's been pretty well. Quentin Jefferson, I know he came from the Vikings. I don't know why the Vikings let him go. We're not paying him that much, so I don't think it was a salary cap issue. So, again, then he brought some of his guys, like I said, the Perrymans, the Haywards, Yannick, of course. So I think the defense, honestly, is good enough right now to put us in contention. It's hard. I know the offensive line has taken a step back, obviously. They're playing better now. They didn't do a bad job in this game. They were really terrible the first few games, let's be honest. But they're playing better. But to me, it has to come to Derek Carr and the play calling. I mean, it's like this vanilla play calling and then Carr's checkdowns. Nobody's going to respect that. Like I said, I don't care if you throw it out of bounds. Have Zay run deep and throw it deep. Do it on second down. You know, they run the ball every first down, just about, to be honest with you. And Jacobs will get 4 or 5 yards. So now you're at 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. Go deep. Mix it up. Scare them a little bit. And if you don't get it, now you got 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Get Drake out there as a utility valve in the flat. Make them respect that. And if they come to respect that, and then you have Renfro getting your 3rd and Renfro going. This is rocket science, guys. We're just not doing it. We're not executing it. So it's the play calling has been terrible. And honestly, I gave kudos to Olsen the first couple of games. They were like masterful jobs. He kept the defense on its heels. So Carr played great. I was even talking about him being in MVP status. I don't know what happened. The wheels have like completely fallen off. It's over. It looks like everybody's kind of packed their bags. And it's kind of funny. I got an email from the Raiders themselves because I went on that Allegiant Stadium tour. If you saw in May, I went on the stadium tour. So now they send me emails. And it was something like, get your tickets now for one of the best seasons ever. And I'm like, wow, really? That must be an auto email at this point. So, I honestly I don't see us recovering. If we were going to recover, it would have been in this game. And you know what? To be honest with you, even if we lost this game and it was close and we played hard, I would have taken that, to be honest with you, at this point. It looks like everybody's given up, except for the defense. There's some defensive players that have stood out, and we know who they are. I mean, even Trayvon Merrick had looked good, has looked pretty good out there as that high safety. I think we got really lucky in the draft that he wasn't taken, and we had to move up to go grab him. But that's another story altogether with the drafting. But I mean, Brandon Parker's the turnstile. Colton Miller didn't have a great game. He was responsible for that fumble. He let the guy go, Hendrickson. He did that before in the previous game too, so I don't know what's going on with him. If he's hurt, what's going on? You draft a guy in the first round, in the middle of the first round, and he's basically a guard. Okay, because you can't go out there and find guards, like you can tackles, right? So let's waste a first round pick on that, and we drafted him to be our right tackle. How'd that work out? So it's a lot of nonsense. Like I said, I think it's best that Gruden's gone for the long-term stability of the team. I don't think we ever would have won a Super Bowl with John Gruden as head coach. And it proved it, even with the whole Chicago game. That was a joke. Let's see. Dominique says, I was at the game. The atmosphere was great. It just sucked that they looked this bad. We booed their asses multiple times. Yeah. Well, yeah, you could hear it. I could hear the crowd. That's the best part. Like I said before, it's like the Raider Nation is the most enthusiastic part of the entire team dynamic. It's not the players, it's not the coaches, it's not the front office. It's the fans, and it's like we care more about winning than they do, and it's like, what's wrong with this picture here? And not to say everything they've done is wrong, but it's more bad than good. And frankly, we could have very well lost the Miami game. We very well could have lost the Baltimore game first week. Went to overtime. That was like having like 10 heart attacks with all the crap and not getting in the end zone and all that drama. And then they left Zay Jones wide open. That was kind of dumb, but we could have lost a few of those games. We should have won the Giants game. I had a feeling we were going to lose, but I thought it would be like a one-off. I thought, and I said that before, like that when we played the Chiefs the next game, I thought, win or lose, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. No, it wasn't even close. We got our asses whooped. It was a joke. It was an absolute joke. They didn't even show up. And the defense is better. And they didn't show up. Offense couldn't do anything as usual. Same thing with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, you know what? They're scrappy. They made enough plays to win the game, but they're not a good team. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. They're not even going to get to the championship game. They might make the playoffs, but Cincinnati's not that good of a team. And they like owned us. They owned our offense. I mean, Derek Carr, he's number 2 in passing behind Tom Brady, all this stuff, weeks and weeks. Where did it go? That was all Ruggs? No, I don't think it's all Ruggs. Some of it's Ruggs, but it's not all Ruggs. So the worst part is I don't feel the fire in the heart from the team to go back and fix this. That's the worst part, not the performing. So Sandy B says, so they are just going through the motions. Your opinion? It seems that way. If you watch the press conferences after, and I watch the press conferences right after the game every week. One, they say the same things over and over. We got to do this. It's on me. Well, Derek Carr, it's on me parade. And it's just they're moping. I go back and show you the picture on there again. I mean, that's a screenshot from the presser right after the game. And I showed one the week before. I showed one in the review. So there's no fire. There's no, like I said, I want a Bill Romanowski. Like, we're going to go out there and we're going to kick these guys' asses. And this is bullshit. And we need to play better. That's what I want to hear. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's like, I don't really want to cuss, and I got a dinner reservation after this, so come on, let's make this presser quick. Come on, get your questions so I can get out of here. Whew. It's bad. It's real bad, guys. It's bad. And we deserve better. We deserve better. Like I said, I think it starts with Tommy Boy. If he lucks out and gets a good personnel guy, a real general manager, not a fucking NFL analyst for 15 years, who apparently can't analyze players. Look at the guys we've drafted, especially in the first round. Most of them aren't worthy of a first round pick. Definitely not worthy of where they were selected for sure. So if we can get a good personnel man, that would go a long way, to be honest with you. A good head coach. Like I said, I want an offensive guy. I wouldn't mind keeping Gus Bradley. I know some of you, like Dominique, don't like Gus Bradley, but it's kind of the silver lining of the season, to be honest with you. Not to say they're perfect, but the turnaround. I mean, we were low 20s in defense. Now we're in the teens now. So, and I thought we would be around 20th. Yeah, a few spots higher, around that 20th. So they're exceeding my expectations. A lot of these older players that we picked up, like Casey Hayward, one of the highest rated DBs by PFF. And I know PFF is kind of hit and miss, but still you can see it on the field how good he is. So Denzel Perryman, one of the league leaders in tackles, tackling machine. Another guy Gus Bradley brought in here. I want to see Tyron Johnson. We brought him in. I want to see him on the field. Like I said, if you saw my off-season videos, this was one guy I thought Gus Bradley would probably try to nudge Gruden to go get. A good, solid X-type receiver. When Keenan Allen wasn't playing, if he was hurt, he would come in and play pretty well. I thought Brian Edwards would do better. He's been disappointing me, to be honest with you. Let's give Tyron a chance. Let's see what he's got at this point. That's what I would say. So going back though, I would say the defense, if anybody on the staff should stay, it would be Gus Bradley. I like how we played defense for the most part. Again, I think the problem in this game is we ran out of gas. We were on the field so long, you could see the players kind of getting tired out there. And it's a balance, it's a team sport. If the offense isn't doing well, the defense can only hold up so long. It's the same thing we've seen with Derek Carr before, where we would lose 40-38, and people would blame Derek Carr. And it's like, we gave up 40 points. Paul Gunther's an idiot. That's not Carr's fault. So if that's the case this way, then we got to blame Carr. If we're seeing the reversal now, the defense is playing well, can't stay off the field because we're 1 for 7 on third down conversions, 13 total first downs. That was worse than the Chiefs. We got 15 with the Chiefs. We're regressing. We're not progressing. So like I said, I think Bradley's probably earned at least another year here. I would like to see, again, with the defensive tackles, we kind of, like I said, threw shit against the wall and see what stuck. Hankins probably, in my opinion, Hankins probably played his best game this week against Cincinnati, especially in the first half. But, he and everybody else got tired. It is what it is. Let's see what you're saying here. You want them to care? Of course I want them to care. Of course. This is the Raiders, Sandy B. See, I grew up with Al Davis, right? I grew up as a Raider fan with Al Davis, and they won, and they would consistently win. And this 5-4, like last week when they talked about, we're still 5-4. That bullshit wouldn't have flown with Al Davis. That's not commitment to excellence. 5-4 is not commitment to excellence. We are not those Raiders anymore. I grew up with those Raiders. There was 27 other teams. There's only 28 teams when I was watching back in the day. 27 other teams, and there was the Raiders. They were different, and maybe they did play a little dirty and just win, baby. Al didn't care. Al didn't care what you did. You play like hell, like John Madden says. You play like hell, and you show up on time. You play like hell on Sunday. That's all he cared about. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're rolling over to Cincinnati. Perennial dog team. Let's call it what it is. The Giants. When have they been good? When Phil Simms was there? Come on, guys. Eli? Come on. This is not the Raiders. This is not commitment to excellence. It's not. It just isn't. It is what it is. It's not commitment to excellence. Dominique says, with the right head coach and GM, this won't have to be a 3 to 5 year rebuild. We've seen teams turn things around in 1 to 2 years. I agree. If we want to be optimistic and say we get the right head coach, the right GM, I would say 1 to 2 years is feasible with the talent we have now. I think we're going to have to lock up Max Crosby in a couple years to a big contract, obviously. I'd like to see Perryman stay with the team. We're going to have to pay him more money, of course. Casey Hayward, I think he's earned a spot on the team, to be honest with you. I'd like to see Trayvon Mullen back from injury. I'd like to see what we got there. Brandon Morrow. Javin White, he's okay. I'm not like, I don't love him, but I don't hate him either. And they just put him on the practice squad, so that tells you what they think of him. I think KJ Wright needs to go. I saw him again in this game. He looks honestly looks kind of overweight, and he looks slow. And I think there's a reason why nobody picked him up for so long. I think we were all totally desperate with all the injuries at linebacker. So I think he can go. I think we need to focus on a good interior defensive tackle. Probably another linebacker. And then the offensive line. I mean, if Leatherwood can't play tackle, we still need another right tackle. Brandon Parker isn't the answer. So let's see. Sandy B says, I get it. We had Hallis, Butkus, and Walter Payton. Those were the days. Mike Singletary also. Richard Dent. Super Bowl Shuffle days. They were really good. They were so good. They didn't take shit off nobody either. Dominic says, honestly, I would trade Carr and Jacobs this offseason. I wouldn't trade Jacobs. Okay, Carr might be a trade. We still have 1 year left on his deal, so we could maybe trade and then he could sign long term to another team. I think the problem with trading running backs is that they're so plentiful. There's not a huge market for it, and I like Jacobs when he's healthy. I said this before, and I said this in the offseason. He is not a 300 touch guy. He's not a 300 carry guy. He's going to get hurt. We need somebody else. Like I said, Ramondre Stevenson. It was almost like every mock draft on those if you were on my live streams before the NFL draft, I think every mock draft I personally did, I think I had Ramondre Stevenson in like the 5th round or so. I just grab him because he was just like this big bull kind of a bowling ball guy. And I was like, oh, that would be great to spell Jacobs, maybe like in the 3rd quarter, we have a slight lead, put him in and let him run people over and, have Incognito there run behind. Oh man, that would be great. But, the NFL analysts were smarter, I guess. And it looks like he's doing pretty well in New England, by the way. 7th round pick. And we got Jimmy Morrissey, a guy we never used, and now he's, I believe, signed with Houston or another team. So he's not even on our practice squad anymore. Well done with that 7th round pick. Good job. Yay, Super Bowl team. Carr should just go. Like I said, I think Carr's good enough to win. I think the problem's in his head right now. Ultimately, it's in his head. And if he can't resolve that here, then he needs to go somewhere else, like a Ryan Tannehill. I mean, just remember Ryan Tannehill in Miami, and everybody thought he was a piece of shit, right? And then he goes to Tennessee and performs, and now he's this great quarterback. It's a shame, though, because, back in the day with the Raiders, we were the ones on the receiving end of those types of players, your Stablers, your Jim Plunkett's. Plunkett was the first overall pick with New England, washed out, went to San Francisco, didn't do that well, came to us, won 2 Super Bowls. Not to say he was a great player or anything, but good enough. Again, I wish Al was immortal. I wish Al could still be here, a football mind. And he had, and the best thing he had was an identity for the team, right? We don't take shit. We do what we want on the field. And you hear my Al intros in my thing. We take what we want. That was him. He wasn't West Coast. He's like, no, you're going to give us 3 yards. No, we're going to take 20. That's how we're going to play this game. And that swagger, that attitude, that was the Raiders, not this. This shit right here. This is a logo from an old time. This isn't the Raiders anymore right here. It just isn't, guys. I gotta call it straight. I'm a Raider fan. I've been a Raider fan since 1978. And my dad was a Rams fan. He couldn't stand the Raiders because they were dirty. They played dirty. They were rough. They wore the black. They were like the evil team. And they had the Maverick owner who didn't care, who always rubbed the NFL the wrong way. But somehow they got all these misfits, and somehow they always tied it together and were a force and were dominant and would beat the hell out of you. This is not this team anymore. That team is this team right here. Long gone. It's gone. Sorry to say it, guys. And some of you who are younger, who weren't old enough to see those days, you never knew what the real Raiders were. Unless you watch NFL films, you get a little glimpse, It's sad, but it is what it is. So I think right now we need to play out the season. I don't think this team's motivated enough to win, let alone get to the playoffs. And if I'm wrong, they can prove me wrong. I would love to be proven wrong there. I think the last game was kind of do or die for them. And not only did they lose, they lost really badly. To me, it's kind of a toss-up. I was going to say, well, I think this loss was worse than the Chiefs one, but the Chiefs are a division rival. It was on prime time. Chiefs are a way better team, but they're just coming in to get a paycheck. That's the way it seems. So it is what it is. So let's see if you guys have anything else here. We'll still have games left. Hopefully it won't be painful for fans. Saying to be, it's been painful for Raider fans since, 2002? Yeah, I mean, we had one season between 2002 when we went to the Super Bowl and now, right? We had one season, 2016, where like the stars were like aligning. I think we got lucky in a lot of games, including the first game with the Saints. We went for 2 and got it. But still, Drew Brees came down, almost got within field goal range in that game. He didn't get close enough, but close, really close, because our defense sucked again. And then Carr got his leg broken. Trent Cole, Indianapolis, and then that was it. It was the McGloin. That was the whole thing. If you were watching during then, you had a lot of McGloin fans. They thought McGloin should start over Carr. And McGloin was a freaking train wreck. And then I believe we started Connor Cook as well in the game. Connor Cook had to come in because McGloin got hurt, aka he sucked. and he didn't do much better. I didn't expect much from him anyway, and we were like one and done. We were like 12-4, and I believe we played Houston. We had to go to Houston. They were like 9-7 because they won their division, and we didn't win our division at 12-4, which kind of sucks. But Carr wasn't there anyway. We weren't going to go anywhere, but I thought that was kind of an aberration. I thought we won a lot of games. I know Mac won 2 or 3 games all on his own, like the Carolina game. He won all on his own. Made Cam Newton look like a fool that season. And I figured 2017 we'd kind of come back to earth, and we did in a big way. And then they got rid of him. They put in the Mr. Sharpie, Dennis Allen. He sucked. And then Tommy Boy got desperate and said, Gruden, come here. There's a big sack of money you can have, guaranteed, because I'm a moron. Because everybody, and Oakland's not going to give us a new stadium, so we need to generate some interest. It's really been a mess for a few years now. And like I said, we need to get a good personnel man, director of player personnel, and flow it down and get a solid offensive-minded head coach. Let's see. Dominique says, Bisaccia wants to see more Mariota. Did you see his press conference? I didn't see the latest one today. No, I was actually watching the Derek Carr press conference right before this live stream. And it was kind of, he wasn't as mopey, but it was the same kind of answers. It's all on me, and, we have to work on it, and we can't say it. We have to not just say it, but do it. Well, no shit. When are you going to do it? So, I think the time for Mariota was last week. I think we lost the train on that. I think starting Mariota against Cincinnati would have been great. With hindsight now, with how this game went, because even if we lost, you could say, well, Carr had to get his head back on straight. We threw Mariota in there and we lost. I don't know. I think we would have done better with Mariota with RPO, to be honest. Because if you look at the game, other than that one drive in the fourth quarter, one drive in the fourth quarter, we weren't really throwing the ball down the field. So what's the difference with Mariota? He could throw 2-yard passes to Jacobs and Drake and do an RPO and run. I mean, the only negative would be he'd probably get hurt by the second quarter because he's made of glass. But I think with the way the play calling was, the way the offense was running, it might have been more effective, to be honest with you. That's really sad. That's really sad to say. So again, bottom line, we've been here about an hour. We'll close this one out, but again, I'm gonna, if you enjoyed this, give it a like. Get my call to action here. If you did enjoy this, you should be liking this anyway, subscribing. I will go live next Monday for the post game with the Dallas game. We can talk about what happened there. Again, I'm going to be kind of tied up with some family things on Thanksgiving, so I won't be doing my normal halftime live streams. I will come back and do that the week after when we're in Arrowhead Stadium against the Chiefs. We'll be going live at halftime for that. Hopefully I won't need the alcohol for that one. So hopefully we actually kind of get our head straight and get moving with this. So I just want to thank you guys for coming out. I know a lot of you guys come out, and some of you don't comment. I can see there's more people in here that don't comment than are actually commenting. And a lot of the diehard fans that come out here and support this channel, I appreciate you coming out here as well. Again, thank you very much for supporting this channel. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.